Good morning and welcome to Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Open Air is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Air, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. Thugs disrupt ADC rally. And then on to Delta State, ADC demands arrest over Ozoro assault incident. And on Sokoto State, Governor orders local government chairman relocation to councils. And on Bauchi State, Bala denies defection, backs PDP stability. Ahead of 2027, Wike-backed PDP faction inaugurates convention committee. And on general elections, APGA backs Tinubu, drops 2027 presidential bid. And still ahead of 2027, presidential aspirants free to run against Tinubu, APC declares. On Global Terrorism Index, ADC faults Tinubu unveils security reform plan. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Air this morning is George Azunda-Chinda, regular on Open Air and also a political analyst. Good morning, George, and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, viewers.
How was your Easter weekend going?
So far, so good.
All right, very well. And then moving on to the story. Suspected political thugs disrupt the maiden meeting of the African Democratic Congress Young Women Forum in Alesa, Eleme, Rivers State, scattering participants and destroying canopies, chairs and sound equipment. The attackers claimed the organizers lacked proper authorization to hold the gathering and insisted that political activities required clearance. The national coordinator of the forum, Atosemi Oma Oweme, alleged that the disruption was led by a ward councillor who objected to the event on the grounds that his office had not granted approval. According to her, the councillor insisted that any gathering within the community must first be cleared by him and reportedly warned that she should not organize meetings using the ADC name or publicly associate the event with the party. She maintained that the meeting was not a political campaign but a forum aimed at mobilizing and encouraging young women's participation in politics. Oma Owame further disclosed that she had received prior warnings against hosting the event under the ATC platform, describing the incident as a deliberate attempt to stifle opposition voices and democratic engagement ahead of the 2027 elections. The attack adds to a pattern of disruptions targeting ATC activities in Rivers and Cross River states, raising fresh concerns over the political intolerance and restrictions on grassroots political organizing. We'll go on a short break. We'll be back shortly. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. George, what do you make of this story? I mean, thugs disrupting ADC meeting.
Well, from what I gathered here, if the allegation is anything to go by, that the councillor representing the area was the one behind the attack, trying to stop a peaceful gathering of party members, party faithfuls. I think that councillor should be arrested, because even the United Nations Charter, even the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees free assembly. However, if it borders on politics and political campaign, it means that there must be, the election management body would have lifted embargo for campaign to begin for such kind of gathering to take place. But even at that, the councillor, on assumption that he's the one behind the attack, the councillor does not have such right to, ask for such gathering, to seek permission from his office. As who or as what? He's not the police. Imagine the law giving him such powers. That means he can decide on what to do, whether to accept or not. So he does not have such powers by, our law and all that. So if the allegation is true, I think this calls for the police to properly investigate, what transpired. And if the man is in, he should be arrested and be dealt with according to the provisions of the law. It is quite wrong and it's quite disturbing at this early stage, towards the 2027 electioneering, that we will begin to witness this again in River State. I think, for me, there's no opposition actually in River State, so I don't think there should be any need for anybody to start, disrupting political activities, attacking people, maiming people and all that. I mean, the space is large enough for everybody to campaign. I am saying this because looking at the political reality of River State today, I don't think the APC, have an opposition here. So everybody should be allowed to campaign. Once the embargo is lifted, they should be allowed to campaign without disruption, without molestation, without whatever. Let people be free, so that at the end of the exercise, once the winner emerges, the winner will have, will have legitimacy. People will not say that he or she won because his party, disrupted activities or tried to, stop the other party from campaigning. We do not want such a thing. Let them allow everybody to campaign. The police also need to, weigh in down on some of these people who obviously they are known to them. They should not be allowing them to cause disruption, because in the course of that, I believe people would have been injured. Sometimes it could lead to death, and that is not what we, want in River State. We want a peaceful River State. Politics is a game. Everybody that has interest should play by the rule. Nobody should use whatever, means to disturb or, try to stop the order. Especially the peace of the state is what matters. Because whether you like it or not, these things have a way of rubbing off on the entire state. Business activities, investors and all that are watching. And if they see disturbances like this, I don't think any reasonable person will want to go into such kind of places that do not have semblance of peace to invest and all that. So it's not just all about politics. It also affects the economy of the state. It also affects the people, who we are as a people and all that. So we must look at this and see how not to continue in that line.
Right. Now, one would say, would you agree that, or look at this perspective, is this setting the tone for 2027? Considering that it appears now to be more like a trend, having ADC attacked whenever they have an event or probably they have a meeting. This happened in Cross River State not too long ago, where thugs also disrupted the ADC meeting in Cross River. Now, you remember that sometime in Ubima, under Ikwere local government, the former Minister of Transport and former Governor of River State, Rotimi Amechi, on his way to, do his registration in the party, was attacked. There was a shootout, and they said it started the previous day till that day by 12 noon. And after that incident, now this one has happened. And so far, we have not seen, we have not heard that these so and so people have been arrested by the police and they have been prosecuted. So what exactly is going on? Is this going to be a trend come 2027? Should we be worried?
Well, first and first, I personally, as a human being, want to condemn such, actions or act by persons who obviously may not understand the import of what they are doing, to our people and the states at large. Again, I want us to look at it from this angle because we in River State have been known, the state has been known to be politically volatile. Even the people who are the ones crying that they are being attacked may have also planned this for, planned this against themselves just to curry public sympathy. The possibility is there. I am not being certain here. What I'm saying is that these are all variables. These are things that are possible when it comes to issues like this. So I'm calling on the police. I mean, they should be neutral in cases like this. They should ensure, they have everything to ensure that the perpetrators of this act are arrested and brought to the book. Trying to play the ostrich or throw blind eye to issues like this will, give morale to those who, have been in the forefront of perpetrating evil like this to continue. It will embolden them the more to continue this kind of act. And that is not what we want in River State. That's not what we want. We have suffered a lot as a people, as a state. I think we deserve better. We deserve better. Like I said, the space is wide enough to accommodate everybody. 50 political parties. Come, do your political rally, reach out to your supporters. On the election day, let's all go to the poll and exercise our franchise. As a party member, I'm telling you, given the reality of today politics in River State, I don't think the APC has a very strong opposition. So if this is coming from party members, from the APC members, then I think it is very wrong of them because they have nothing to fear regarding this election that is coming in 2027. But again, I think this rests squarely on the police to do their job. Let them not waste time in ensuring that they get these persons arrested. That will serve as deterrent to those who may be planning to do such. Because for me, it is not just all about disrupting the activity, stopping them from campaigning and all that. This could potentially lead to death. It could lead to injuries and all that. And the signal is sending to the outside world is that this state is not safe. That will affect the economy of the state.
Right.
Politics is not just all about winning an election. It's also about ensuring that the state move forward and develop for the benefit of the citizenry.
All right. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go to Delta States and discuss what happened in Ozoro community not too long ago. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. African Democratic Congress has condemned viral videos showing the assault of women in Ozoro Delta State, describing the incident as horrifying and unpalatable. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, said the attacks were particularly disturbing, given that they occurred in a university town where young women should feel safe. Abdullahi called for immediate police action, insisting on zero impunity and urging authorities to thoroughly investigate the case and prosecute all individuals involved. He stressed that every perpetrator must be identified and held accountable to serve as a deterrent against similar attacks. The ADC also criticized Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboriwori for not personally addressing the incident days after it occurred. Abdullahi described the governor's silence as a failure of moral leadership, arguing that speaking through aides was insufficient in the face of such a serious issue. George, what do you make of this story?
First thing first, let me also join well-meaning Nigerians to condemn what happened in Ozoro. It has no place in today's Nigeria. But again, I must say that people misunderstood what actually played out. This is not a clash of culture and the law. From what we gathered, I had to do, my own research on, the festival. It is actually a festival of fertility for couples who do not have children yet. They tease them. It is not what actually played or what we saw on video and pictures. Some criminal element took advantage of what has been age-long practice of a people to perpetrate criminal. It has never been a case of raping people publicly or molesting them. It has never been. It's about couples who have been looking for the fruit of the womb and all that. It's a culture, it's a practice that is harmless.
But you say they tease them.
They tease the couples. They tease the couples. It's not like, raping or molesting them, kind of. It's a practice. You can go further to do your research on this. But people took advantage. Unfortunately, the community leadership did not even inform the police, because Ozoro community is no longer the Ozoro community of 50 years. It's now a cosmopolitan city that has a university there with people from other walks of life coming into that place to live, who may not be aware of the culture in place. You and I are in Nigeria. If this has become something that the people are known for, we would have heard it before now. How come it's happening for the first time? They said this culture happened every three years or thereabout. It is not about molesting girls on the streets, trying to force them or to rape them. Rape is criminality. I don't think any culture at this time will want to permit such. What happened was that in every situation you see people taking advantage of the situation to do things that were not part of it. Even the king of Ozoro, from the interview he granted, he said he has been a king for over 25 years. And they have been receiving, ever since this thing happened, they have been receiving calls from both locally and internationally, from kings and all that. Why did you allow such a thing to happen in your kingdom? He said he wasn't aware of this. There was no such culture of publicly molesting ladies, trying to rape them and all that. Some people took advantage of that. Therefore, I also want to align with the king and women Nigerians to call for the arrests, to identify these criminal elements, arrest and prosecute them for trying to rape people on broad daylight. Rape itself is something that nobody will condone. For me, I see rape as stealing. You're trying to steal something that does not belong to you, and that alone is a criminal offense. So why I'm saying this is that it's pertinent we try to understand where we are coming from. What happened that day is quite different from what the culture stands for. That's the point I'm trying to make. So people took advantage of the fact that such a thing, that festival was declared, and maybe misunderstood what the festival was all about, and tried to abuse, molest, and rape people publicly, which for me should not be condoned. Those people must be fished out. Again, talking about the governor of the state, I agree with Abdullahi there that the governor should have personally addressed issues like this. He shouldn't have allowed it, even though there's nothing wrong with that, but to show the pulse of the people, the concern, he should have addressed, and that would have, to a long way, queried some of the things that is happening today, it would have reassured people that actually what happened was different from what it ended to be. So, but unfortunately, for whatever reasons, I wouldn't know if the governor was even in the right frame of mind or if he's heady or something at the moment. I wouldn't know. But the truth is that if I were to be him, I would have, kind of granted interview, trying to respond to what happened and trying to reassure people that this will not happen again. And at best, that they will do their best to get those who went outside what was defined to do something that is criminal, get them arrested and prosecuted.
Right. To a large extent, George, when you were speaking, yes, you mentioned that it was a culture that Delta State had that was...
community.
That Ozoro community had that was interpreted into something else. Let us establish one fact, because I took my time to research, and I also spoke to a lot of people from Delta State, women actually. This thing is not just in Ozoro community.
Okay.
It is in different communities of Delta State. Okay. And the Delta State governor cannot say he's not aware of this. This happens in Ugeli as well. I spoke to a young lady in Ugeli, and another lady even came out. Deltans, female Deltans are beginning to speak up. It's on social media. A lot of them have taken to social media to give account of their experiences and their audios. One said it happened, she lives in Ugeli, it happens in Ugeli as well, right? They would tell women, do not come out. And when you look at Ugeli, Ugeli is a city. Ugeli is very metropolitan. So how is it that people will come out in a place like that and say women should not come out, and there is a festival, and if you come out you'll be raped and molested and assaulted and nothing will be done about it, and anything that happens within that period of time? And the interesting thing is that some other people were saying that this festival is to last for 7 days. So now I'm trying to make sense of a lot of things, because now during these 7 days, even if it's for 24 hours, a woman is in labor. She cannot access the hospital because she will be raped. Women cannot go to work. A woman whose child is sick, or a woman that has medical emergency, cannot access medical care because she will be raped for even daring to step outside her home. You see, it's not just about what is going on. It's about what it is. It's about the reflection of Nigerian people, Nigerian men in 2026, when life has advanced to a point that, one would expect that people would be much more emotionally intelligent, socially intelligent. Talking about the Nigerian Constitution is even a no-brainer, because you have freedom of movement, freedom of association. And when a culture, or whatever it is, it has variance with the Constitution, already there's a problem. Even if the king is saying, even the king, I fault the king and his lack of proactivity. I wish I was the one that interviewed him. His face would be down in shame, genuinely. Because the king, while all that was going on, he was being inundated with calls. So what stopped the king from standing up from his royal palace and enter the community to stop these things? What stops the king from making a declaration, sending out tank criers? What stops the king from calling the military if the governor cannot do anything? What stops the king? The king waited until the backlash started coming on him. He now summoned the organizers to his palace. And for me, to a large extent, that is a pointer to how the people from that community sees women. Because if, as a leader of a community, this is happening under your watch, and it's not the first time, by the way, but he's picking up this time around because it is now viral. The power of social media is beginning to expose vices. It wasn't this way 3 years ago, 6 years ago. But now, somehow these Gen Zs are a very good blessing, despite whatever vices they may be up to, but they are now speaking up. I watched several videos of women being stripped naked. I watched one of over 100 men, including small boys, small, minor, underage, grossly underage boys, watching a lady on the ground. One was even videoing and said, oh, see her pants here. I'm sorry I'm going to say things the way they are, because I think it's time that we call things out the way they are. I'm speaking from the point of a woman. You mentioned that it is more like stealing. You cannot, they are two different things, because you can steal something from me and it can be replaced. That's the truth. I can replace any physical thing you steal from me, including properties. Give me time, I'll replace it. But I cannot replace my dignity when it is stolen. George, I can't replace it. I can't replace. I've been a victim of sexual assault. And I'm saying this on national television because people need to understand what this does to people. And I have not been able to sleep. I've not been able to do anything. Because just watching that was triggering. It was triggering.
Well,
and people are saying down the line, there are things that cannot, some of these people, and unfortunately, George, this country is so backward when it comes to mental health. Do not be surprised that probably down the line, some of these victims mentally may never be the same again. Some of them may be suicidal. And some of them may enter another form of vices. Who is going to take care of these victims? We are not even looking at the possibility of sexually transmitted diseases that a lot of these. I saw one of the ladies being, not just being grouped, fingers, everything was being used. One lady, over 50 men. And by the side of that particular incident, while they were doing that, they were playing drums and dancing. And the Governor Volori, could not come out, because I know that governors have access to intelligence. This is not the first time this is happening in Delta State. This is not the first time it's happening in Ozoro. And it is not only in Ozoro that this is happening. And this incident is going on. The governor of Delta State, Governor Ovolori, cannot have the decency, the empathy, the human common sense, the sense of social responsibility as a man who has been voted into power to come out and stop the nonsense with a phone call. Those people have failed women in 2026. They have failed their children. They have failed their mothers. They have failed women. How is it that in 2026 women are still living in fear? Women cannot walk around freely. Women cannot do their jobs because they will be raped and molested by some groups of animals who walk around in the guise of human beings, protected by a certain festival that they said there are no consequences for it. And I will finally, before George, I give you the mic. Arresting the organizers of this crime is even a further insult on every single woman in this country, because most of the perpetrators were on video. Their faces were on video. Some of them were dancing. They were on video. For every single person that set a camera and ring light and came on social media to do videos, and I mean men, to do videos to support this thing, should be arrested. For every single person that tweeted or dropped a message in support of this heinous crime should be arrested as well. Because there is a social media law and there is a cybercrime law. How is it that this law applies only to politicians and when it affects their lives? Why can't it apply when somebody is supporting an unconstitutional act? So if this country wants to tell us that they truly care about women in 2026, then this goes beyond arresting the organizers. The perpetrators, as many as can be identified, should be arrested and prosecuted, including their social media warriors who supported them. George, I'm sorry I'm being emotional about this. Actually, I'm not sorry I'm being emotional about it. I'm just one woman out of many that have platforms, and I am glad that a lot of women are speaking out using their platforms. George, I needed you to see from the point of a woman how it feels, genuinely.
Unfortunately, I'm not a woman. But then and again, like I said earlier, I did not and I will not support the rape of any human being. I equally have daughters. And if such a thing happens to them, I wouldn't know how I would feel as a human being. But I'm trying to say that the government should handle this matter. The fact that such a thing happened is even wrong. But then and again, it must be handled. It should not be swept under the carpet. Here and now, you took over the position of the guest in the studio and said a whole lot. I think your guest should be in position to say this, but you allow emotion to overtake you.
I will not apologize for that, George. No. Genuinely, you had your perspective you spoke as a man. When you said I took position of a guest, no. This is me for the first time having opinion, so don't go there, please. I beg you to be empathetic in this particular topic.
To do the conduct the interview while you respond.
Maybe you should. Let's switch. Let's switch places, George. Because for me, this is in no way funny. Let's switch places, George. I don't mind that. Because I have a lot to say.
What we are saying is that the fact that in today Nigeria, 21st century Nigeria, such a thing should not be happening doesn't mean that it did not happen. It happened. What is the position? These people should be arrested and be dealt with. Like I said, that will serve as deterrent. It will put an end if such a thing has been permissible in such places in Delta State. I am quite surprised. At my age, this is the first time I'm seeing such. And social media did not come today. You know, I'm not saying it has not been happening. This is the first time this has taken this viral position. And we are seeing it. And we are all in condemnation of this. We are all in condemnation. I have not come here to say I supported what happened. I have two grown-up daughters. I will not allow such a thing to happen to them. What I'm saying in essence is that the law enforcement agents should, as a matter of urgency, sweep into this matter, get these men arrested, and prosecute them. If that happens, by next year or by the next 3 years or thereabout, you will not see this kind of a thing happening again. That's the point I'm trying to make. It has happened, Now, can we turn back the hands of time? We can never turn back the hands of time. The only thing is to arrest these guys, prosecute them, and possibly jail them. Number of years that they can serve in jail. Once that happens, I'm sure those behind them will not see it as something that is viable, or will not see it as something that we must uphold this culture, because that culture does not in any way align with development. That culture is archaic and should be discarded. That's the point I'm trying to make. You have your right to be emotional, you're a woman, and I know from the point of a woman, you understand the pains, the emotional trauma, the psychological trauma that those ladies, were subjected to. And like you said, some of them may not recover from it and all that, because our emotional health system here, is down and all that. Well, I agree with you. But it has happened. Can we turn it back? No. What can we do? Moving forward, we have to arrest these people and be proactive to ensure that the institutions that sanction these things, must put away with such kind of culture, because it does not have a place in our society today. That's the point I want to make.
Even the culture that led to the culture, when you talked about, you said from your research that that the culture that was bastardized into this was that couples who do not have children, there is a festival where they are teased. That was why I had to ask you again, they tease them. You say yes, they tease them. I think at this point, a lot of people in Delta State and whoever brought up this culture should be subjected to psychiatric evaluation.
Whoever brought it up, can you see that person
even the people that have maintained it up until now, because I remember that with development, a lot of cultures are being abolished. And when you have a culture that, takes advantage of people's struggles and people's pain, Because now when you even talk about infertility, even when the man is guilty, or let me not even use the word guilty because it's not a crime, even when the man has the problem of infertility in the marriage, it is the woman that is blamed. It is the woman that is pressured.
This is not actually about man and woman. Please, it is not about man and woman. The trajectory you're going is not something that we're discussing here.
No, don't tell me what to discuss.
Go ahead.
This is my show.
Right?
No
problem.
Even that particular culture, I am faulting that culture as a woman. Any culture that makes a woman less human, any culture that brings more pain on a woman who is struggling to have a child, who is under pressure to have a child, is demonic. Because at the end of the day, when these seasons happen, who bears more of the brunt? It is the woman. In this country, even a lot of men that have issues with infertility have refused to acknowledge it. It's still their wives that are being blamed. It's still their wives that go from prayer house to prayer house, drink concussions, do anything that needs to be done to get pregnant. It is, most of the times, is the woman that is under pressure. Now, in Delta State, according to what you have said, George, they have a culture where they tease couples who do not yet have children. Underscore that word, tease. So what is the benefit of that particular culture?
I wouldn't know.
How does it? That's the question we should be asking, because when things like this happen, you did a good one by researching it. However, because it's a culture, because it's a festival, doesn't make it right. Then, I mean, before Mary Slessor came into Nigeria, they were killing twins. It was a culture, it was a way of life, which was inhuman, which was barbaric, but it was ended by someone. Probably this graping festival, or whatever they called it, that came out, somehow it evolved from teasing women, teasing couples who do not have children, who are struggling to have children, to now raping women who come out on that day. How does that even make sense? Who are these people? Who are these people? I think we should start asking questions. Who are these people? And why does this culture even exist in 2026? Why does this culture exist? And I think parents should start doing their due diligence before you sign off your child to a lifetime of pain and mental struggles. Find out the culture these communities have. So you don't take your time, invest in your girl child, and then end up giving them away in the name of love and marriage to a situation that will end up damaging them for life. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go to Sokoto State. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Aliyu has directed all 23 local government chairmen to relocate to their respective council areas, insisting that governance must be rooted at the grassroots. He gave the order during a Salah visit by the chairman at the government house, stressing that leaders can only fully understand and address the needs of their people by living among them. The governor criticized the practice of council chairmen operating from the state capital while administering their local governments, describing it as counterproductive to effective service delivery. He said physical presence in the communities will strengthen leadership, improve responsiveness, and consolidate development efforts already underway at the local level. To support the directive, Aliyu disclosed plans to either recover existing official residences or construct new ones across the 23 local government areas to accommodate chairmen and key staff. Meanwhile, the state Algon chairman, Abba Shehu Tambuwal, assured the governor of the chairman's commitment to the policy, pledging closer collaboration with traditional rulers, community leaders, and security agencies to enhance peace and development. George, what is your take on this?
Well, the federal system of government recognized two tiers. That is the federal government and the federating units. In some places like Nigeria, we have recognized the third tier, which is the local government. And I think I want to align with the governor to say that local government is rooted at the grassroots. So it is imperative that the chairman relocates, not just physically, every other ways into their local respective communities to ensure that governance, is entrenched locally, where the people of the respective communities that make up this local government will enjoy good governance. What we see in Nigeria's development is that a lot of these local government chairmen, especially those who are from the rural communities, don't reside there. They don't reside there. What they do is they live in the capital cities, not minding what their people are going through. They just stay there, receive allocation at the end of the month, ensure that they pay their wage bills, after which you don't see any form of governance in some of these local communities. When you go to such places, you begin to ask yourself if there is actually a government in place. So I am actually in line with the governor who has asked all the local government chairmen to relocate to their. That is the reason for the work. You were elected to administer governance at the local areas and all that. So you should live amongst your people, feed their pulse. Some of these security challenges you'll be able to understand and nip some in the bud if you are run and all that. You cannot be living in the capital whereas your place is not safe. Your place, people don't feel the impact of government in your place. So I agree with him. That shouldn't just be in Sokoto. It should be replicated across, the states in Nigeria.
It's not even the first time some governors have made this move, but at the end of the day,
that's the implementation of this thing has become a challenging, recurring challenge in our trajectory to development.
Do you think it should be amended in states? The state assembly should amend the law, the local government law, to enforce it.
Wouldn't that run contrary to the constitution that allows freedom of movement and all that and all that and all that? So if
but this has to do with, yes, freedom of movement. They're not stopping anybody from moving anywhere. But if you are governing a local government council, you are expected, because your revenue, the revenue given to you is given to you to develop that area. You are expected. It should have been one of the modus operandi that you should live in that area. It is not constraining you from owning properties any other place. It's not stopping you from probably staying a week or two, or maybe a week, weekends in other states, visiting. That's why you can say it's restricting your freedom.
How do you manage this situation that you're trying to propose? Because the man can tell you that inside 30 days in a month, I want to spend maybe 5 or 6 days in my local government, and the others are moving about. It does not stop governance. The machinery of government is moving. We are paying salaries, we are doing other things, but for me, presently, I will not be there. I have other things that are moving. So how do you even monitor it? You cannot put that as a law to enforce it. I think the governor who has come up with this should be the one to monitor the movement of this local government chairman, and at all times remind them that this is what you signed up for. Please ensure you're in your place and order to govern the people. That is the only way you can, one of the ways you can get this. But to put it in the law, it will run contrary with the constitution that allows freedom of movement.
Which freedom of movement, you know?
Yes.
What you're talking about, what we're talking about here is residence, not movement. They are two different things, right?
These men are resident in their place. They have a house in their local government, but they don't reside there fully.
Now, for every job, there are terms and conditions of the job, right? And if you're not okay with that terms and conditions, you don't bother with the job, right? Good. Now, what I am saying is, in order to make this work, because their earnings come from the local governments, right? How do you govern a place when you're not on ground?
We are on an agreement that doesn't work well. You recall
that there was a particular lawmaker who has been out of the country for over 1 year. And they decided to declare his seat vacant in this country.
That's correct.
So, I mean, it's his prerogative to live anywhere. Lawmakers can choose to live anywhere in any part of the world and rule us from outside. When the president is not in the country for an extended period of time, Nigerians start agitating, which is expected, right? Because we expect that he should be on the ground to govern. So how is it now when it comes to the local government? And recall that the president had come out recently to say that we should also hold our states and local governments responsible for underdevelopment if we have issues, because there is increased FAC allocation. But we are not seeing anything. If you're not on ground, how will you know exactly what the priorities in government are and what you need to do?
Laurentia, let me say this. I have been privileged to be around some of the local government chairmen in River State. And I know how some of these things work. Despite the fact that River State is not even as rural as some of these states, there is hardly any local government area in River State that you cannot have, you know, access to even telecommunications and all that. You know, you have towns within the local government where their headquarters are sited. But even at that, those people do not reside 30 days in a month in those local government. It doesn't mean that they don't go to work there. It doesn't, even the ones from Sokoto, it doesn't mean that they don't touch base with their people. They don't stay in the capital, Sokoto, to know what is happening in other places. No. Occasionally they go there. What the man is saying that you should be rooted firmly there.
The problem now,
you should live among your people.
Don't you think that's what I'm saying? Don't you think the problem is when you go there occasionally? Shouldn't the reverse be the case? Like they touch base in the capital, they touch base in any part of the country occasionally and be more on ground in their local
That is what the man is advocating, and that should be the ideal thing. Because like you said, in every job there are terms and conditions. You understand? If it is about administering governance to your people, one of the best ways you can understand the pulse of your people is when you live amongst them. If you do not live among them, you will not understand. Because you'll be somewhere enjoying your life while security issues. Yes, a developed place like the capital.
But because you're not on ground, you're not under pressure.
You wouldn't even know the developmental stride that you're supposed to carry out to make that place open and all. I agree with the governor. I think he should enforce this in his own way. There are ways he can enforce it. You know, things like, these are owners of the parties and all that. If you don't do this, maybe there won't be a return ticket for you and all. These are ways you can use. There are other ways they can use in lobbying to ensure that, you know, those people who are elected as council chairman will live amongst them, their people, to, you know, govern them appropriately. But to put it in the law, for me, I don't know if it will run contrary to, you know, freedom. It can be, it may not be law per se, you know, but it can be some kind of, how do I put it, a kind of regulation, you know, from within the government or within the party.
More like regulatory.
Yeah, within the party.
The party cannot, now if it's coming from the party, don't you think it will now be challenged? Because how can the party control?
The regulation is not like, it will not run contrary to the law. It's just like within, if you don't do this, we will not give you a return ticket.
But it can be lobbied. But you know, if it's the party, you know that local government chairmen are now, they have access to humongous resources right now, and they can lobby their way out of certain things if it is domiciled in what I was looking at. I agree with what you have said, you know, whether it will be at variance with the Constitution. But I also know that it's a job that they have decided to go for. And if you're going for the job, there should be terms and conditions. And for crying out loud, that's where they come from. Whatever largesse that they are enjoying, that they are spending in developed places, it's coming from the same local government that they have refused to go to.
I agree with you.
And if they so enjoy these developed places, why can't they replicate that development in their local government? That can only be done when they reside there, when they are uncomfortable with the poor electricity, when they are uncomfortable with the bad road, when they are scared because of insecurity. They will not be forced to fight insecurity, knowing that their lives and that of their loved ones are also on the line.
Let us put this in perspective and let us be realistic about it.
I'm speaking from the angle of...
Yeah, let us be realistic. Even
yes.
The governor that is giving such a mandate, if he's a local government chairman, especially from that state or those states where that is ravaged by insecurity and all that, he would not want to stay in those local government rule. The state capital is a bit safer compared to the other place. Such a thing does not happen here in River State. In River State, we are connected in a way that you can even go to as far as Andone, finish your work by 4 p.m. and come back to Port Harcourt. The next day, before 8 a.m., you're there in the office. People wouldn't even know that you don't live among the people because you spend
your presence is felt.
But there, the landmass is so wide that people from maybe the farthest local government to the capital could take in 9 hours. So anything that makes you to touch base there, you spend a week or 2 or more within your people, with your people rather. So these are the issues. So I understand the challenges they face there. Insecurity is one of the major challenges. What these people do, what do they have as a local government chairman? Probably have a policeman,
local vigilantes.
One policeman and local vigilante that does not have the firearms and ammunition to withstand these people. And if this will, of course, you become a politically exposed person, that will be a target for these criminals.
Yes.
So they will definitely come for you. So for the governor to say that he should also ensure with the collaboration with the federal government that insecurity is exterminated from those areas. Right. Should I see a fire simply because I have a job and there are terms and conditions?
And you jump into the fire.
That's the chance. So I understand what those guys are suffering.
All right, very well. Moving forward, Governor Bala Abdul Kader Mohammed has dismissed reports of his defection to the All Progressive Congress, reaffirming his loyalty to the People's Democratic Party. Speaking during the 2026 Eid al-Fitr celebration, the governor, who also chairs the PDP Governors Forum, said although the party is facing internal challenges, the crisis is not insurmountable and can be effectively managed. Mohammed emphasized that political leadership should be driven by vision, integrity, and strategy rather than desperation for power. He urged political actors, particularly ahead of the 2027 elections, to avoid bitterness and embrace peaceful issue-based engagement. According to him, the people of Bauchi are politically aware and cannot be misled, stressing that healthy competition must not degenerate into hostility. The governor also reiterated his administration's commitment to inclusive governance, security, and development. He called on residents to support security agencies and remain vigilant, noting that informants aiding criminal activities pose serious risks. Mohammed highlighted progress in infrastructure, education, and healthcare while pledging continued support for workers' welfare and youth participation in politics, alongside efforts to ease economic hardship through targeted interventions. George, Mohammed has been in the midst of the controversy in PDP.
Yeah.
Considering this statement coming from him at this time, are you surprised? The position he's suddenly taking, he's now open to reconciliation.
My mother will always say, whenever a man wakes up, is his morning.
That's his morning.
I must say I'm happy that I'm hearing this from him, meaning that no matter how intractable the problem is, it is not insurmountable. If he had told this line earlier, maybe, just maybe, the problem in PDP wouldn't have been so wide that the party becomes a shadow of itself. He is a leader, a governor of a state, from the party PDP. He's also the governor's, PDP governor's foreign chairman. So by virtue of these positions, he holds in a leadership position where
considerable influence.
Yes, yeah, he bears a lot of influence where these things, would have come to bear to help mitigate some of these challenges. Unfortunately, he decided to play politics, and today the party is so factionalized that I don't see them, mounting any formidable opposition to the ruling APC. But like I said, whenever a man wakes up, it is his morning, so it is not too late. They may not get the presidency, but if the party comes together, they may be able to restore some of the National Assembly seats and others, which will still keep them afloat for the next cycle of election. You understand? But if he continues to fight, the party will be torn to shreds, where they can't even, win a councillorship seat. Party is about people. You understand? So you cannot be there in Bauchi State to control what happens in River State. You need everybody to come together under that platform to do it. So it's a good thing that he has turned a new leaf. He's now speaking about peace for the party and regrouping to ensure that something is salvaged. The possibility is there. I am not ruling this out because it's a platform that is registered as a political party. So, and there are people, he's a governor leading his state. There are one or two other governors, I think that of Oyo State and maybe one other.
Sheyi Makinde. No, they are now two.
What about
Bala Mohammed and Sheyi Makinde.
What about Adama? Okay. So, both of them are just the remaining.
Actually, Lagos State APC, has been taunting Makinde. There have been talks. No, they are taunting him. They said he is now the chairman of one-man governors forum. Seeing that, there have been rumors that, yes, Bala wants to defect. However, the conditions given to him are not friendly by APC. One is that he will not be able to bring a successor. And secondly, he will not be recognized as leader of the party in his state. That is literally killing his political career, isn't it? Well, and could that also inform the sudden change of heart that he's having?
Politics is dynamic, and we say 24 hours is such a long time for decisions to be overturned or to be reached. So, given what you've said now, if those were some factors that I do not know about that has forced him to turn a new leaf, it is still a good thing for the PDP.
It is a turn a new leaf.
Of course, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. In fact, in that fracas that happened in Abuja, he was in the midst of it. If not because he was a governor, maybe some of those blows would have touched him. So he was at the center of this whole thing, leading from the front. So today, if he had realized that we could do this thing peacefully, and he's doing the line he's doing now, this thing wouldn't have escalated to the point where the party became a complete shadow of itself, became a laughing stock of Nigerians. A party that prided itself to rule for 60 years, all of a sudden, in a twinkle of an eye, like a movie, gradually, you see governors that were elected on the platform of the party, moving in droves, and nobody could halt that movement.
And you've also forgotten the case of National Assembly members.
Leave National Assembly members. Leave that one. The seat was already, the majority of the House was already with the APC. It's not like the PDP was already majority. We are talking about, because the state has, like I said earlier here, in federalism, you have the federal government and the federating unit, which is the state. These are the two bits. So if you have a state, that means you have somewhere strong. If you can, out of 36, if you can muster like 20 states or 15 states, that means you're in a strong opposition. The possibility of even adding more will be there, because with what is happening in this area, it can, be seen by others to see whether we can replicate that and others. You give hope to party members from that state to contest for the governorship of that state and all that. But where are the party members, the leaders, as elected officials and all that, are defecting in droves to the ruling party? So what hope are you giving to the ordinary man in the street? Should I just be alone, going to the street and shouting PDP power to the people when there are no backups and all that? Obviously nothing will happen.
But currently, going by where PDP is at right now, do you think that PDP is gradually coming back, gradually regrouping, considering the appeal court judgment that has recognized the faction you know, being backed by the FCT minister, and considering again that court annulled the Ibadan conference, and the faction backed by the FCT minister has also been recognized by INEC, and now they are organizing a convention. You know, I think the convention should start on they said 29th and 30th of March. Do you think this is a step in the right direction? Don't also forget the Turaki faction has also gone to Supreme Court. So while there are talks of reconciliation, possible reconciliation, the matter is also before Supreme Court, and, you know, with Supreme Court, it can tilt anyway.
I have always said that politics is about give and take. You know, if we agree, if we're inside an office or, you know, so wherever where we hold our meetings, and I agree that you take this, I take this, the other person take that. Whatever we decide here, we'll push to the public. Nobody questions it. It's our internal party thing, it's our internal house thing. Okay? So even the matter that has gone up to Supreme Court, if with recognition of the FCT minister's faction and all that, if the other one see that, okay, we still have a role to play here, and they call for a truce, where they can discuss, you hold this, I hold that, the party will move forward.
Okay.
You know, what has kept this party here today is this issue of litigation and all that. If they have not gotten to this level, they have resolved their matter amicably, no matter how intractable an issue is, you know, with clear mind and clear purpose, I think such things can be discussed and agreed upon.
Okay.
If they had done that earlier, the party would have built on momentum to ensure that even if they don't win the presidency, by now, you won't be talking about PDP the way we are discussing them. We'll be discussing them like a viable opposition that has what it takes to even win majority seats in the National Assembly. But today, because we know that politics is not just something you wake up and you decide. Politics is something that you plan for a very long time, and you begin to see the manifestation of result. So as it is today, we do not have much time to the 2027 general election. So by implication, if they agree today, what they can get is maybe a few governorship of some states and probably National Assembly seats. If they do that, it means that they will still retain that opposition, you know, position as a party to build for the next cycle of election. But if they don't do that and they continue their fight up to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court maybe rules very late into the matter, by implication, the PDP will just die a natural death waiting for.
Now, the question is, if we're going by this analysis that you've given, the question now will be, what viable political party do we have now in the country? ADC is facing leadership squabbles, and they are in court, and the pendulum can swing anyway, right? You have Labour Party, Abure somehow has arisen again, and even though INEC has de-recognized Abure and Menade Osman has been recognized, they are still in court over the interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment that they said wasn't declarative enough. It might swing any which way. And truth remains that politicians are no longer comfortable, you know, mortgaging their political future and career on parties that are not stable. How do you see this playing out? Or should we expect a miracle?
A miracle from ADC as an opposition party? Or
anything can happen. You just said it now that the politics in Nigeria is dynamic.
The PDP cannot put their act together before the election. Obviously, ADC appears to be the only party that has what it takes.
But
it's not as if they can go. I've always said this months back.
You said they cannot.
No, they do not have what it takes to win.
And you said they don't have structure.
They don't have. They don't have. When we say opposition could mean some seats in the National Assembly, because there are areas they could be, you know, very viable, they could be popular, and maybe the person occupying a seat there may not be doing well. The locals there may have gotten tired of the person and need a change. They can win such, because there are a lot of seats. Out of senatorial seats is about 309, right? 309 seats. Or no, 109.
It's 109. House of Rep is
House of Rep is about 400 and something.
Yes.
Now, you cannot tell me that the APC will sweep all of this. It is not. If that is done, that means it's no longer a democracy. It's now a one-party state.
It was never an election.
Yeah, there must be, you know, a context. And in some areas, we have seen in this country, when we saw that it was just PDP and the APC were strong. We saw in some places YPP. YPP as a political party, because the person that
NNPP too.
Yeah, won in some places. So
even when the NNPP at least won in states.
You know, YPP won some places.
Abda won
West,
Anambra State,
like that.
Just like that, yes.
Well, if you say, I cannot sit here to say that the ADC will not win a seat. I cannot say that. They may win 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even 10, 15 seats.
Again, depending on the outcome of the court's judgment.
I think that before then, those things will, they have one word or the other.
Why do I have a feeling? I will keep saying this.
No.
Why do I have a feeling that these judgments may come out after the primaries? Is it not politics? These judgments may come out. Didn't it happen to APC in River State? You remember, George?
Yeah, I know. I recall that made APC not to have candidates. That is the 2019 election.
Exactly. Don't you think that might play out?
The possibility is there, but I think some of these political actors also may not be allowing that to happen. They may not wait till that happens. When they see the handwriting on the wall, that the delay will cause a lot of damages to them, they will jump ship. There are a plethora of political parties that they are there registered. They may not be popular, but some of these politicians already are popular by themselves. So moving there and whatever structure they have into such political parties will give it a boost. And they know the timetable. They are watching. So if that judgment cannot come on time, right on time for them to, participate with their party, they will move. Because the time for the 2027 election cannot be changed.
Now, if we are going by what you have said, which I believe is extremely cogent, it means that the only political party without solid
blemish or challenges
right now is APC, right? Because the truth remains that these other political parties were just there. Issues started after, by the reason of defection of some notable politicians, they came into limelight. Don't you think the same Ken that is flogging Labour Party, flogging PDP, flogging APC is resting and waiting to flog another party when these notable politicians also give
Which is still okay. Which is still okay.
If you
allow me to come into your house and destroy your house, why should you blame me? We are here competing for something. Politics is about competing interests. Both of us and the rest of us are looking for something. First to get to that place, guess it. And I know that I can put some kind of gridlock and challenges before you that will make you not to get there before
and distract you.
Yeah, and I know if I do that, it's permissible. It's permissible within the rules.
All is fair.
So if you allow yourself to be hindered by those hiccups, how is that my problem?
Okay.
So if the cane is ready to flog them, let us see how they can hold the cane and break it. If you cannot break the cane, they allow the cane to flog the hell out of you. It's as simple as that.
All right. George, I think you're going to like this next story.
What's that?
You will like it. Let me get to it.
I hope it is.
Yes. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has confirmed that the All Progressives Grand Alliance will not field the presidential candidate in the 2027 general elections. Speaking after his second-term inauguration, Soludo stated that the party has already adopted this position similar to its approach in 2011 when it supported the then-President Goodluck Jonathan. Soludo openly endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a second term, describing him as a friend who has performed well in office. He stressed that his stance is guided by what he considers the best interest of the Southeast, noting that political decisions must go beyond personal preferences to reflect broader regional benefits. The governor further emphasized the need for coalition politics, drawing inspiration from Nigeria's first and second republics. He argued that strategic alliances rather than isolated contests offer parties like APGA a stronger voice at the national level, adding that aligning with Tinubu would ensure the Southeast secures relevance and a stake in national governance. George.
Very wonderful.
I said that you were going to like this story.
The reason is not because it borders on my party, but I'm a realist when it comes to issues like this.
Okay.
Soludo, by virtue of being the governor of Anambra State, is the leader of APGA in Nigeria. He has looked at the political reality of today. Do you think it will be okay to, throw somebody up as presidential candidate of APGA, spend money and all that when the person does not even stand 1% chance of winning? So he has seen it, for him, it's about strategic alignment with the center for the future.
It's about give and take. That is politics. APGA does not have it's a registered political party, but does not have what it takes in terms of, the wherewithal, the people to wrestle power from the leading political party, which is the APC, the incumbent, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the best way is to realign with him to also secure his own part. Recall that it was just a few months ago that his election was held, and there was no interference from the presidency and all that.
Probably this is him saying thank you.
No, this is about
using federal might.
Yeah, it's about politics. It's about
because
politics.
APC actually came very close.
They came very close.
And that's the first time in Anambra State. Truth of the matter is that APC is hated in Anambra State. And it goes back to as far as Biafra war. That's a fact. And during the show that time, during the Anambra State election, I was very confident that APC will not even come 5th position. But when I saw APC's performance, I was like, wow, now this is very impressive. Whoever, the ESCOs that are handling APC in Anambra State, their strategy should be studied. They are doing a great job. And for Soludo to have taken cognizance of that means that he actually did feel the heat during the elections.
He felt the heat. He felt the heat. It was not an easy election for him, even though he won all the local government. Yeah, he won all the local government, but it wasn't like a complete carryover. Carry-go, yes. In local power, like you say. It was, if you check from where they were coming, the last election to this one, like you said, it was not what they had before. The APC is closing the ranks and showing that they are getting closer. Yeah. So he also saw, because if the president in our climb here had wanted the APC by all means to get to that place, maybe the election wouldn't have been that smooth. So the president came there, allowed the free and fair election to hold, and Soludo won. And like I said, one of the reasons why Soludo has aligned with the incumbent is because he has seen that the party APGA does not have what it takes to mount any formidable challenge against Tinubu. For him, it's about strategic.
He said it's strategic.
It's very strategic.
Let's quote him. He said strategic coalition than isolated contest.
So by implication, if the president wins the 2027 election again, don't be surprised that maybe some of those ministerial slots from Anambra State, Soludo might be contacted to be the ones that will come up with the short list and all that, the names that will make the short list. There are other things aside that can come to the state, like developmental projects and all that, which he can easily attract.
One might say, do you think, I think this perspective is quite interesting. I know that there are a lot of give and takes in politics, and there are negotiations, yes, and when the negotiations align with the interests of the negotiators, then you have an understanding and you have political compromise. Going by what you have said now with respect to Soludo having a say, probably with regards to appointments, ministerial appointments, federal government
appointment and even projects
yes,
that
and all of that.
To the region, to the states.
Do you think that probably there have been certain understanding that have been reached for Soludo to say, okay, APGA is adopting and
obviously
endorsing Tinubu?
Soludo couldn't have come out in isolation to say APGA is endorsing. There would have been some meetings that, listen, look at Southeast today. Majority of their governors are now in APC. Look at the South. Majority of their governors are now in APC. So for President Tinubu, the Southwest also is, of course, his home base.
Yes.
The South is in the bag already.
All right, yes.
The only stumbling block there now, or two stumbling blocks that are not with them, Anambra and Abia.
State, yes.
And Soludo, he has already won his second term.
And Soludo defecting to APC is a no-no.
No. He doesn't have to defect because he already won his second term in office. So even if he's one of those no-motion political parties, just remain there and do your thing. But you can give directive. Please, just like what he has done now. We are aligning with the APC and we are voting Tinubu for presidency. And party followers and party faithfuls will do the needful. But Soludo wouldn't have come out to say that without having a meeting with the president himself. There would have been some of this discussion. In the course of this, if we do this for you, what do we get in return? Those things have been said behind the scene. So for President Tinubu, the start is already in the bag. The battle now is in the north. Oh yes. Already,
how do you see that playing out in the north?
Of course, it will be a close contest, given the fact that one of his challengers will come from there. Atiku Abubakar will definitely run for the presidency. If not under the platform of ADC, he will move again to any other party just to contest, because this appears to be his last shot.
Yeah.
You know, in the presidency, so I believe he will.
Well, you never can tell. African leaders will contest when they are 90.
Who is even sure of to be alive the next day? If God has given him longevity up to this age, I mean, he should be grateful to that. So if he allows, if Tinubu wins 2027, we are talking about 2031. Add that to his age. Would he be 80 and 85 years holding crutches and, holding walking stick to campaign for us? It worked for those African countries because they were already incumbent. They were already incumbent. If you see their closer challengers are young people, you cannot see somebody challenging Paul Biya in Cameroon to be 80 and 85 years old. Nobody will read it. It's the same thing we are talking about Paul Biya. Why should we be having such a person again of that age coming up? His challengers are younger people. So what I'm saying is, this is, for me, the last shot for Atiku Abubakar, because if he doesn't win it from now to 2031, add that to his age, would have been far older than he is today. And I don't think health will be on his side. It's a natural thing.
And Nigerians may not be willing to listen.
Many Nigerians are already tired as it is today. Then how much more 4 or 5 years from now?
If that is the heartbeat of many Nigerians, then what makes you think that he's going to be a very strong contender come 2027?
The challenge is simple. The ones who had today have not lived up to expectations. It didn't just start with Tinubu. When like the issue of insecurity that is ravaging the Nigerian states, more especially the northern parts. You know, when Jonathan was there, people accused him of being weak and all that and all that and all that. He left. You know, they came with this, Buhari is a general, ex-general, this, that.
He will be able to combat it.
The thing became worse. Now, Buhari has finished 8 years and left. Tinubu came with its own. In fact, the thing is keep going northward.
Going by terrorism.
That we have seen today. The thing keep going northward. So if you look at the situation, that is why somebody like Atiku can still have support, because we have seen that the man that is there is not actually handling this matter. If this man has suppressed this to a certain level, we'll be talking about it.
And electricity situation.
These are the issues. Those things that matter to development.
Administration.
Those things that are key to the development of the country. Look at my place. I've not had light for the past 2 weeks now. You know, and there are other places suffering the same thing.
I should be asking you that. How are you coping?
Well, we are used to suffering in Nigeria.
Considering the cost of fuel, there is no light, and you have to use a kidney to buy your fuel.
We are used to suffering in Nigeria. What we do is that we have to cut down on the number of times we have to put on the lights. You know, if a liter before was around 9 and something, now you're talking about 1.3 or so. So you can buy like maybe 5 or 6 liters based on what you have, manage it. Make sure there are basic things like pumping of water, iron, clothes, and a few things. After that, you go back. So that is what Nigerians are known for, suffering and smiling. So these are the things that can give hope to even Atiku to run. And people will say, okay, let's have, Nigerians have a way of doing things. We have tried Tinubu. We don't think he's making headway. Maybe this magic lies with Atiku. Can we give him an opportunity? That is the only thing that can make him to pull weight in the coming election. But if he doesn't get it this time, forget it. I don't think it's going to happen again.
All right, thank you.
Age is not on his side.
Thank you so much, George. It's a pleasure having you today on Open Air.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Air. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, Ifastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.